Good morning, Happy Valley. Welcome back to another edition of Penn State 365 podcast. It's afternoon, so I don't know why I said good morning. But anyway, Penn State has landed another commitment. Yes, signing day's over, but the 2026 class is just beginning. Not really, actually. Penn State's been stacking this 2026 class.
Yeah,
So as of
very
the
quickly becoming
yeah, so
a deep class here.
ignore that part. But yeah, Penn State has added another 2026 commit in Jerquaden Guilford from Northrop High School in Fort Wayne, Indiana. High three-star recruit. Tell me how this one came together. I know we just visited campus recently.
Yeah, Corin, like said, good morning. A little bit behind the scenes there. This one has been in the works for a while. We're recording this. I think he's announcing this on Saturday. This should be going up.
Yep,
We're recording
correct.
this Friday, so we've known about this one now for
Couple
what,
weeks.
a couple weeks. I think it was first about rumored around the Maryland game that he was going to potentially be end up committing to Penn State. But yeah, high three-star prospect like mentioned. I would not look at the rankings too much right now. With Guilford, I think this is a kid who's going to, has a chance to skyrocket up the rankings here.
Yeah,
We have not updated our 2026 rankings yet, I think, since the end of the season.
yep,
Obviously,
correct.
2025 was the focus with sign day coming up. So 2026 ranking updates should be around the corner. And I think it's a big chance to, go up those boards. I know I'm going to advocate for him to do so. But I think what you look here is the offer sheet. Georgia, Indiana, Miami, Michigan State, Ohio State, Penn State, Pittsburgh, Tennessee, West Virginia, Wisconsin, Alabama, Ole Miss, Notre Dame, all showed interest. He visited all three. Penn State got involved this summer. He camped at Penn State, performed really well. I believe the number we heard was sub 4.5 40, around
Yeah,
4.5.
I have it too. I'll
You
find
have
it.
you'll find it, but a really good 40 time for Penn State. Really impressed the staff. And I bring up the offer sheet because I think the offer sheet shows how good of a prospect he is. Better than the 68th wide receiver in our rankings currently. Again, think that's going to go up. Ohio State is in on him. I've heard Ohio State really likes him. I think there's a solid chance that if he didn't commit early, that Ohio State would have been a spot for him that they would have taken him down the road.
Mhm.
But Penn State's getting him early in the cycle, and I think it's a big recruiting win for them. Good size at 6'2", 170. Elite speed. I think that's a really good combination. I think this is a chance for Penn State hasn't been able to recruit many true game changers at the wide receiver position. I think he has a chance to be one of those true game changers for the Nittany Lions. But yeah, impressed in camp. They just kind of, really have been in contact ever since the summer, and he's developed a really good relationship with the coaching staff, really good relationship with Marcus Hagans, and decided that he wants to be a Nittany Lion. That, like we said, it's been a decision that's been coming now for a couple weeks.
Yeah, so looking at his high school, they don't produce a ton of talent. He's actually the highest ranked kid in his high school's recruiting history, dating back to 2002 when Rivals first started. But interestingly enough, Josh Gaines also went there, if you recall, back in
Yeah.
2004. I forgot about that. Philadelphia Eagle, and then I think he went to CFL at one point. I got to double check on that one now. Either way, really solid commit. This also continues the trend for Penn State with wide receivers coming from out-of-state schools. Last cycle, we saw Virginia, Florida. Who else am I thinking? Virginia, Florida, New York. I'm missing one. Missing one from last cycle. Alton,
Out in
Samuel,
Virginia, Samuel, New York, Howard, Florida.
Florida. Who am I missing? I'm missing one. I can't remember who it is. Now I got to go back and look. Exeter from Maryland.
Yeah.
Now, if you do that again, it's Delaware currently from Jashir Rogers. Then it's
Yep.
LeVar Keys from Maryland, and now Jerquaden
Indiana.
Guilford from Indiana. So,
Yeah.
is there any concern there, being that they had a pretty good wide receiver in 2024 in Tysier Denmark? They had a pretty good chance at Lex Cyrus, we thought, but ended up choosing South Carolina. Any concern with in-state receivers?
No, not really. I think the in-state wide receiver groups the last few years have been kind of on the weaker side. I mean, Who is the last truly elite wide receiver to come out of PA? Marvin Harrison?
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
been a
yeah,
while.
100% easily.
It's
Yeah.
been a while. Tyzier was a pretty highly recruited guy, ready guy. Lex was pretty well sought after. But there hasn't been many like
Like Fleming was rated high, but really didn't produce at a high rate.
yeah, and that's already 6 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're right. Actually,
That was
Jesus.
2019,
Yeah.
I believe. And Harrison is even along. That's 4 years ago. Not many elite wide receivers have come out of the state. There have been some that have gone on to have good careers elsewhere. That Penn State, was in on, but didn't maybe highly push for. A guy or didn't offer. One of those guys that I think, looking back, could have maybe been helpful, but they didn't really push for was Kenny Johnson out of Dallastown. Maybe that's a guy.
Yeah.
Could be a
Forgot about
guy who
that.
pushed. Maybe comes out of the portal.
Hmm.
Goes in the portal from Pittsburgh. Who knows? Uh,
I'd look
but
at Rodney if he entered too.
yeah, Rodney obviously was Rodney's probably the other one that people point at and go as a miss, but he was an athlete too, and his impact at West Virginia hasn't been huge these first 2 years.
No, a lot of
Um,
money for a kid that hasn't done much.
and I think obviously there's been one player from West Virginia who's got Pennsylvania ties that I think Penn State should be all in on, and
And just
uh, and I'd even say maybe somebody like if the running back enters, blanking on his name right now, would enter the portal,
I
that would
forget
be
too.
somebody.
Yeah.
But in-state recruited wide receivers, no, I'm not concerned just because the lack of
Hmm.
talent. It's been a little bit lack of talent. I think it is good wide receiver talent in the grand scheme of things. I
Hmm.
do have a pretty deep understanding of the top 20, 30 receivers in the state, but it's very few high end prospects. There's a lot of good mid level P4, group of
Hmm.
five, strong FCS wide receivers.
Okay.
And in the grand scheme of things, I think that's where Pennsylvania really makes its hay. It may not produce a ton of 5 stars. It produces a good amount of 4 stars, but Pennsylvania is really good for producing just really quality all around guys who may not have big impacts but are good depth pieces, and some of them develop into really good players and have great careers. But
Hmm.
no, not concerned. I think they're showing their ability to go out and recruit, a lot of different areas at a high level. And Northrop High School, not a big producer, but Fort Wayne
Hmm.
is a talent-rich area. And going back to his offshoot, Ohio State was the first school to offer him, actually.
Hmm.
So I think
No, it's notable.
yeah. So just another thing to add about him as well. Um,
So,
and go ahead.
my highest ranked receiver right now, although I disagree, I think it's probably just your Rogers
I
overall.
think yeah,
Either way, that's three already, and
yeah.
that's 8 commitments. How many do they go after? Because we also have a future cast in for Elias Koch, who's technically projected as a receiver, so that would be four if they land him. Do they get him number one and make him a wide receiver, and then do they go to what, five, six? Are we talking six receivers at this point?
I don't see him going six. Six
That'd be
just
insane,
seems
right?
yeah,
But Koch
six
has
seems
ability to play both sides technically.
yeah. I almost like Elias better as a safety than a wide
I do
receiver.
too, but don't tell him that.
But I think they're going to. I think they're willing to take him as a wide receiver here, and
Hmm.
when he's ready to commit, they will do so. Um, I think it's five, but yeah, it just you got three in. You can never count your, count your eggs. But
Chickens before they hatch.
count your chickens before they hatch.
There you go.
Thank you. Got some baby brain right now. But obviously training well for Coke. So that would put them in four, and that leaves them one spot when they have 5, 6 guys that you think that could really fulfill that last potential spot. So yeah, it's barring a massive, you know, uh, departure amount of departures from the wide receiver room. I think they go five, but um, space is really limited there, and that's I'll be interested to see how they use that last spot. Is it first come first? Well, they have 2 spots, but if Cook commits, how would they use that fifth spot? First come first serve, or are they going to be a little bit more choosy with that? Because I mean, there's a lot of guys on that board still that could be high impact guys. Davion
Yeah.
Brown, Connor Salomon, um, are two guys out of Virginia that I know are pretty high on Penn State's board there. Um,
Messiah Hampton, I like out of New
Messiah
York a
Hampton out of
lot.
New York. Trying to remember some of the other guys. Really strong.
Travis Johnson,
Another
Virginia.
really strong group of receivers in Virginia this year. Um, but yeah, Travis Johnson, like you said.
Hmm. You said Ben Whitver?
Now Ben Whitver, uh, who
A little lower, but up
a
there.
little bit lower, but teammates with Matt Henderson, 2025 signee. Um,
Danny Odom, they just offered, the former North
yeah, but
Carolina commit.
I do think they offered Odom as a DB.
Oh,
So
okay, and that's fine too then.
um,
Yeah, there's some names. I
so
mean,
there's yeah, we just mentioned 4 or 5 wide receivers that they're in there for with 2 spots left, and if
did
co-commits, that's one.
do they push to flip Dysere Carter from Rutgers? He's a Virginia kid. They were in his top two,
Yeah,
top three ish.
yeah. I mean,
He's very talented.
the list goes on and on about
Yeah. Huh,
um,
there's a lot.
who can, and that's not counting because there was always in the cycle 1 or 2 guys
Pops up late.
that pops up late that, or even highly ranked guys that pop up late with interest in Penn State and take sudden
Hmm.
official visits. I think they start. I think right now it's 5, but I think you maybe push that to 6 if there's an absolute stud that you cannot say no to.
Yeah, 100%. I want to talk a little bit more about this recruiting class because there's some notable news. Four-star offensive lineman from Michigan, Ben Nichols, just announced he will be committing on December 24th. A little Christmas Eve commitment there. I prefer they do that than Christmas Day. But anyway,
Yeah,
he visited. Who did he visit this fall? He visited Michigan, Notre Dame, Penn State, Tennessee, and Wisconsin. I have a feeling this one's going to stay out in the Midwest. But what are you hearing right now?
um, yeah. I think there's a good chance this one does not go the way of Penn State here. Um, yeah, I think the Midwest is probably best. I know Michigan State is really high on him. That would be a big pickup for the Spartans early. Ohio State, obviously up there, and I think Notre Dame is also amongst the key guys in that one right now. I'll have to reach out to him, see how Penn State has been in communications with them.
Yeah. Sounds like it's leaning Notre Dame a little bit, but I wouldn't be shocked. We'll wait and see him. Probably put a feature cast in over the next couple days. Another guy that is also starting to wind down with his recruitment is four-star offensive tackle. Maybe he's not really an offensive tackle. I think he's a guard more than anything. And Kai Pritchard, top 200 kid, Donovan Catholic, New Jersey, Toms River, New Jersey kid. Has a top 5 he just released of Boston College, Illinois, Penn State, Rutgers, and Tennessee. Out of those 5, he's
Yeah.
visited Boston College, the most recent, on November 30th. He's visited Rutgers twice this fall and
Yeah.
visited Penn State twice this fall. So you have a feeling it's going to be one of those 3 just based on that alone.
Yeah, I'd agree with that sentiment. Penn State also, in only has one offensive line command so far, but in
Damn
really
good
good
one.
spot for a damn good one, damn good one, but in a good spot for a lot of offensive linemen. So I'm not sure Pritchard's in a spot where they may be ready to take him just yet. Um, and it's an interesting grouping of schools as well. Um, I know you feel that one may go
Yeah.
towards Rutgers, but we'll have to wait and see here.
I mean, the visits say basically what I've been hearing, and it's just that he wants to stay kind of localish in the Northeast area,
Makes
which
sense.
that's fine. I mean, a lot of kids do. Boston College, I don't really see as a threat. I really think it's more of a Rutgers or Penn State battle. Will Penn State take him? Like you said, probably not yet. So I'm going to lean more towards Rutgers. Uh, Top 200 kid though, and could develop into a really nice prospect. So it could be someone to look at down the line too potentially. But
Yeah, I'll check in on him and I'll update our boards. But I'd probably I gotta see if Penn State would take him at this point.
yeah, one more kid I want to talk about, local kid, Nazareth area quarterback, Peyton Falzone. I know recently we've been talking about him being a potential tight end at the next level, but it sounds like Penn State's going to push him as a quarterback. Just decommitted from Virginia Tech and visited campus back on, I forget what day, where is it? November 2nd.
Yeah, I it's interesting. I know they liked him because of his size, athleticism as a potential tight end. But his
Hmm.
stock as a quarterback has risen significantly over the last over this fall. I do wonder if there's a little bit of, you know, figure it out later type situation here.
Agree with
Uh,
that.
but yeah, it's notably he did not tell me this directly, but he told our Iowa writer this, and our Iowa writer told us that that's what he said about Penn State recruiting him as right now. So, um, yeah, I'm not surprised because his quarterback tape this year has been much better than it was in the past. Um, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that one goes. Penn State obviously has a 2026 quarterback already committed in Troy Hun. Um,
Another damn
and
good
that
one.
a good one. And then, they still may add another quarterback here in the 2025 cycle in Bryce Baker. And we'll have to see how that affects um, Hoon or any other quarterback they may choose to pursue in the 2026 class.
Yeah, that's where I'm kind of interested. So if they don't get Baker, do you just go straight to the second quarterback in 2026? I feel like it's
Uh,
probably a reasonable one.
I think that's likely because I think no matter how the quarterback battles go over the next few years, you're going to
Hmm.
see some departures there. It's just the way quarterbacks are. Quarterbacks are going to want the chance to play.
Hmm.
Um,
I agree with
like
that.
if Drew comes back this year for 2025, does Bo really want to sit another year?
You'd be crazy to stay, I feel like, if you're
I
Bo.
think Bo could start at numerous Power Four schools. I think it'd be a
Hmm.
perfect fit. Well, depending on the coach, but I think it'd be a perfect fit for like something like West Virginia.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so like Bo could be in this tough spot. Now that doesn't really affect 2026, but I guess Bo would theoretically be around for 2026 if not. Um, so like what would Bo do? And then
How good is Grunk gonna progress?
yeah, will Grunt continue to progress? And then, um, and if Drew leaves after, if he stays for 2025, then goes pro, depending on how that quarterback battle goes in 2026, I mean, there's a lot that is going to be decided. So I would probably lean towards yes, because I think there's a chance there's going to be a couple departures in that room. Jackson Smolik, where is he on the depth chart long term after missing a lot of this season with an injury? Yeah, I would say taking two in 2026 probably wouldn't be a bad idea if they do not land Bryce Baker here. If they land Bryce Baker, I think it becomes even more interesting because what does Troy Hun do at that point? Because that definitely changes a little bit of you know the
Hmm.
the the room,
Trajectory and
yeah, the
everything.
room there, because then Troy would be coming in not just to battle uh,
Hmm.
Grunkemeyer, he would be coming in to battle Hoon. Um,
Bryce Baker or whoever else. Bo, maybe even too.
Beckham Kritz is obviously in that room now.
I
I think
completely blanked on him.
we all agree that Kritza is a long term project here, but um, so I mean, I think a lot with that quarterback room is going to be decided in the next few weeks when it comes to um, Bryce Baker, who did not going to sign during the early sign, did not sign during the early signing period. Said he was at least going to push it off to this upcoming week. We'll see if he waits. He theoretically can just show up on campus somewhere in January, but it does seem like he wants to give North Carolina all the chance here to make a good hire because I think he really loves that university, Chapel Hill, and everything that comes with it.
Yeah.
Um,
I
but
will
if not,
never be upset about a kid sticking with his close to home school and staying
yeah,
close to
no,
home. I always feel like that's fans can't really get mad at something like that.
no,
Like,
no. But if he chooses to go elsewhere, Penn State's in a really good spot.
yeah. Now you can get mad at like Matt Zollers, who's close to home, got the Penn State offer, and just yeah, I'm out. I'm gonna take the bag.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Penn State helped themselves in that regard,
That's fair.
either with taking Kritza early.
A lot of regret
Now,
there. I feel like a little
um,
bit.
like I think Kritza, Penn State's very high on Kritza because of his pure arm talent. It's just about can he put it all together. I do think the stability is going to be big for him. Um, But yeah, I think if Kritza doesn't pan out and Zellers goes to Missouri and balls out, and you have to face the other guy you were high on, and for a while in Malik Washington, he's going to be in Maryland. If he balls
It's
out of
gonna be a
Maryland,
stud.
I mean, it could be one that comes back and, a lot of what ifs about, but um, all three of those guys need to develop first. No quarterback is a sure thing.
Agreed.
I mean, everybody thought Jackson Arnold was going to be great at Oklahoma, and now he's in the transfer portal.
And end of the day, they still have Andy Koltonicki. I know he's not a QB guru of sorts,
But
but
Danny
he is
O'Brien
an
is.
offensive. He is an offensive genius, and Daniel O'Brien is a QB guru. So you got to trust them and see what they can kind of do to develop
Right.
Kritza and others and Grunk and etc. But yeah, that's really all we got right now. Really good get in Guilford. Very solid get. I'd say above average get actually.
Yeah,
Um,
I think he has a chance to become a high four-star prospect in this class. Again, great size, elite speed.
mhm.
Let me see if I could get his stats here quickly.
Yeah, very
I do
dependent
like
on
I
if it's
do
up there.
I do like when high school coaches upload their stats on
Mm,
Max Prep.
yep.
Um,
A lot of them don't. Just
35 receptions, 556 yards, three touchdowns this season. Um,
sophomore, pretty
for
solid years. Junior, sorry.
Fort Wayne Northrop. Um, so a pretty solid season. Not a great season, but a pretty solid season. But the tape is good, and he's I think going to be a really excited prospect to watch develop over the next year.
Yeah, no, I definitely think this is a good get. Another wide receiver, top 6 class right now. Let's see if they can maintain that throughout. They should, as long as they hold on to these guys. Some of them are highly ranked already.
And
Uh,
they're in good spots for several other high end recruits as well. So
yeah,
that is big as well.
and definitely keep an eye out. There'll be more offers, a bunch of other stuff going on. Stay tuned to the Penn State 365 podcast here on YouTube or on Spotify or on Apple, whatever you're listening to us on. But for me and Dylan, that's another episode of the Penn State 365 podcast. Signing off.